Hey guys, been a couple days. Lots happened in these last couple days, like usual in any series of couple days that I haven't been present on my daily vlogs. Um, but I don't want to talk too much about what's been going on with me. Um, Things are going alright. I took a couple days off just to work on my own artwork and heal because I had hurt my back in the whole process of getting ready for represent. And so, while that was going on, I didn't have time to pay attention to what I was doing to my body, so I had to take a couple days off. However, during those couple days, some really depressing news came about, and I want to make an analogy. So, anyone who has followed me for a while would know that I'm originally from Sacramento, and while I don't, you know, take as much pride in the city as many people do, because of the fact that I left because it had a certain small town feeling that I didn't associate with too much. I feel like there's a lot of people who move to LA for that reason, that they need to get out of their small town. And while Sacramento is not a small town, for some reason for me it had that feeling. And I always felt, I don't know, like I was bigger than that town. Um, Ignoring the, the need to be too humble. Um, it wasn't so much that because I still really enjoy hanging out with all my friends and whatnot that are back there, and I would never have any sort of criticism for anyone that does stay there. It just for me, I felt like I needed to get out. Anyway, I've seen two lists lately of the top 10 most depressing cities in the United States of America. One of them was Sacramento was number 5 on the list, and the other one, when I was looking for that one again to show somebody, found another list where Sacramento was number 1 most depressing city in America. And the real reason, the big reason for it, is because with the recession, there was also a huge crash in the housing market, and Sacramento, a suburb of Sacramento, Oak Grove, which is where I'm originally from, was when I was living there. Right before I moved out, it was 2 years running the fastest growing city in the entire world. So when that happens, the bubble's going to burst at some point, and it did, and things have been going south, I would say, quickly in Sacramento, to the point where I kind of want to get my family out of there. The number one, like the sign that it's time for me to start pushing to get my family out, was going to be when we lost the Sacramento Kings, because I feel like they're a huge beacon of hope in the city, and the fact that you know they are trying to leave and go to Anaheim, so we're gonna have Los Angeles Lakers, Los Angeles Clippers, and Anaheim, whatever they changed their name to, um, bandwagoners, whatever. Uh, it seems kind of pointless to me. The only problem is that it's very difficult for Sacramento to get a team that is any sort holds any sort of significance in the NBA. And ever since the whole Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, throwing games away controversy for sports gambling, Sacramento has not had a significant team since then. And I don't imagine they will be getting one soon. Cousins is, he's great. He could be something big, but he basically has same problem, similar problems to what Andrew Bynum has, except Andrew Bynum is like getting through them, and Cousins doesn't seem to be. Although he's much earlier in his career, so who knows? Regardless, what happened recently was a kind of like a dispute between Kevin Johnson, the mayor of Sacramento, who obviously was a superstar in the NBA and wanted to, or at least an all-star, and wanted to keep the team because he knows how important it is for the city. Look what happened in New Orleans after the Saints won a Super Bowl shortly after Katrina happened. It totally gave hope to the city. And a national sports team is one of the few things that can do that. And so what ended up happening was, and the analogy that I want to make involves the Maloofs, who are a big name in Sacramento. They have money in Vegas, and they've put a little bit of money into the Sacramento Kings. Well, I guess a lot of money into the Sacramento Kings and restaurants and whatnot, and just they've always been a really important family in Sacramento. Problem here is that the Maloofs set up this agreement that they would keep the Kings in Sacramento because they're the owners of the Kings, they would keep the Kings in Sacramento if the city of Sacramento could comply, and there was like a laundry list of things that needed to happen, and if they did all happen, then the Kings would stay. The biggest point here is that they wanted to build a brand new stadium in downtown Sacramento. The thing about building a new stadium is they need to spend a whole bunch of money to make the best stadium in the entire NBA, preferably make the coolest stadium in the entire world. Take a Dallas Cowboys syndrome. And they wanted to be the talk of, not only talk of the town, but the talk of the NBA, talk of the sports world once the stadium was done. And the reason why they want to be this is because once they start getting that, the arena itself becomes an attraction, they start pulling in more money and they can afford to buy more players. They have some sort of reputation where players want to come play with them. There's passion in the city, blah, 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 all that happens. And it's kind of like the Oklahoma City Thunder, who is said to have, the best crowd in the NBA, which they stole that crown from the Sacramento Kings. Now, I've never really been a Kings fan, so I was a little bit for a small portion of my life. But the thing is, the Kings, I still root for them because, I'm from there. I like to see people from my hometown doing well. What I think happened, because Kevin Johnson and the city of Sacramento accomplished everything that they needed to, which was going to be impossible. And then Maloofs backed out anyway. And they're probably going to leave. They're probably showing their true colors right here, and they're probably going to leave. What I think happened is the Maloofs were like, okay, we got to get out of here, but we got to save face. We don't want people to think that we betrayed our hometown to leave for somewhere better, but that's what we're going to do. So, if you guys have seen Angels in the Outfield, it's like the kid's dad in Angels in the Outfield. He says, I can't remember what he's doing. Be your dad again, or I'll take you. As the Angels win the World Series, then I'll be your father. A miracle happen, to the point where he actually needs Angels in the outfield to help the team win, and then he accomplishes the impossible, and his dad still leaves, which proves that he was trying to say, you're never going to be able to do this, I'm going to leave anyway, but I'm going to give you, some kind of false sense of hope, and so I don't look like as bad of a person. The Maloofs in this situation are the neglectful father, who's leaving their children, hanging them out to dry in this terrible situation in one of the most depressing cities in the world, or in the United States of America at least. And to me, I haven't looked, too much into the situation, but to me, on the surface level, that's pretty depressing that they would do that, and it's totally going to add to this situation. And I feel bad for the city of Sacramento, and I think that things are going to go a little bit worse before they get better. And I don't think the city's hit rock bottom yet, but I think it's going to happen soon. When Arco Arena turns into a meth lab, then I think it's a problem. On the flip side, the city is it's always going to be important because it's the capital. Assuming that politics can turn around in the United States of America and start to solve more problems than they're causing, which I think can very well happen, and I also think California will be the leader in a lot of these changes, then Sacramento can be something of great importance very soon. So that's what I'm hoping on happening. I'm also hoping the Kings don't leave, but this feels like the very large straw that broke the camel's back. So, shouts out to Sactown. See you guys tomorrow.